What's going on, guys? How you doing, everyone? Thank you very much for joining me. I haven't done one of these for a little while in my Facebook group. Obviously, with Meta now removing the ability to stream into groups via a third-party app, it's a little bit tricky, but we're going to persevere. So basically, the alternative is sending it off to the YouTubes, to LinkedIn, to I think one of my Facebook pages as well. But get around, everyone. Smash the heart button or the like or whatever. Drop a comment. Let me know you're here. Hashtag live if you're on the live. Hashtag replay if you're playing catch up. And I'll rock and roll in a little moment. I've got some really, really cool stuff to present to you guys that is basically going to help rapidly increase the value of your sales pipeline. Okay, now this is going to be prevalent if you are a service-based business, if you are a marketer, if you're affiliate marketer, if you've got your own courses and coaching, all that type of stuff. Kevin, how you doing? Thank you so much for dropping in. Appreciate it. Welcome to the fray, as it were. I'm just going to give it a little minute or two and see who we can get to rock and roll to this thing. Like I say, a little bit of a tricky workaround at the moment. I'd love to just stream directly into the group, but in order for me to be able to hit a few different places at once, I have to kind of be everywhere. So there you go. How you guys doing? Any wins to report? Any good things that have happened? Now I'm going to do a little blatant pitch before I go any further, because it was something to show you guys, which is only available for June. I'm ramping things up in my world, and what that means is that the investment to get into a lot of my things, my courses and programs, things are going up at the end of June. And so here we go. I think I can start that. Connecting to the internet connection. Okay, that's fine. Cool. All right. So hopefully you guys have seen that come through. Let me just check, make sure that I am actually streaming at all the places that I'm meant to be streaming. Technology, you got to love it when it works, but man, it doesn't. Gosh. Give it a second, folks. All right, cool. That's been awesome. So yeah, keep smashing those comments, guys. The more the merrier. And check out that doc if you're interested in checking out what I'm up to. So, all right, let's rock and roll. So, give you guys a little bit of background, and you guys get access to the presentation and stuff like that as well. I'll drop that in after we've done. I just don't want you guys to skip ahead and ruin the fun for everyone. But effectively, a little while ago, I was looking at the way that I was doing my organic marketing. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jamie Gardner. I've basically taught folks how to become both Facebook and, I guess, broader sense, other platforms as well. Organic marketers, meaning that you don't need to necessarily use ads to find clients and attract clients, all that type of stuff. My business has massively evolved over the years, and so I was taking sales calls for a very long time. I still do have a call funnel for my affiliate offer, but it's not really in use that much these days. And I started looking at my calendar, going, well, hang on a minute, I've got 10 calls booked this week. That's great, but 10 times 45 minutes times by however many people decide not to rock up, that's a lot of time that I'm now devoted to being in front of my computer waiting for folks to rock up. So I started to look at different ways that I might be able to acquire clients, and I've since developed a couple of things along the way as well. Now, why is that relevant to you? Because what I mainly do now is I will look for the folks in my audience that have what I call intent. Buyer intent. Okay, and so what that means is that I'm looking for the folks that are hand raisers, or perhaps we've had a discussion going back and forth for a little while. Perhaps I've been able to get them on my radar somehow, and in doing so, it allows me to then basically close high ticket sales without the need to sell via phone, which is kind of cool. Now, all that being said, with this presentation, it is basically a really, really simple way. If you are, like I say, service-based business, coach, consultant, course creator, affiliate marketer, anything like that, to effectively get your offer in front of more folks. And the reality is that one of the big missing pieces for folks is that what they'll often do is they'll go out there and they'll think, okay, I've got my offer and I want to make 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K per month. And one of the disconnects for a lot of people is that they don't have their offers out in the world, right? They're going, okay, I want to hit 10K per month, and they might be making, say, $1,000 per sale. And then they're like, well, I haven't got it in front of anyone. And so there's a disconnect. And so what the reality is, though, is that you're not going to hit a 100% strike rate with your leads to closing anyway, right? So hopefully everyone's logical enough to understand that. So let's assume that it's more like, I don't know, 20, 30% for argument's sake, even 50%. Let's be generous on that one. So it's 50%. That would mean that in order for you to hit 10K per month, or 10K in a given period anyway, you would need to have at least $20,000 worth of offers out there in the world in order to hit that figure, right? And so a lot of the time when I'm speaking to clients and whatnot, they either don't have offers out there, or they have like $2,000 worth of offers, and they're wondering why they're not hitting the goals. It's like, well, if the offers out there, you need to get the eyeballs on your offer in order to sell some stuff, right? It's like, it'll be great if we had a 100% strike ratio and every single person we spoke to just magically bought our stuff. But like I say, I'm a realist, so hopefully you guys are as well. Anyway, all that being said, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go through some really cool stuff. I have a delicate ego, and so I have low self-esteem as well. So if you guys can do me a small favor on that one, and just be engaging in the comments, just really helps me to give me a little ego boost along the way. Just kidding, but it does help when I get engagement, so I appreciate you guys. Right, share the screen. Like I say, I'm going to give this presentation over to you guys as well later on. I just don't want you guys to skip ahead. So hopefully, now I don't have dual monitors because I love simplicity, and I only operate on one. So I now have to make sure that I'm streaming. You guys can see my stuff. Cool. Okay. Just want to make sure that my screen was showing. There we go. Awesome. Okay. So look, this process is so unbelievably simple, and I think because it's so simple, a lot of you might just automatically dismiss it. And before I go into that, thank you, brain. So I'm calling this the Lost Ark process, right? And why am I calling it that? Well, a couple of reasons. I was thinking about my dad, who's going to go in for hip surgery recently, or soon, I should say, and he often reminds me of Harrison Ford. He's got a similar facial structure, and a lot of my wife, a lot of my friends have commented in the past that he looks a lot like Harrison Ford. So that got me thinking about my father, which then got me thinking about the Indiana Jones movies, which then got me thinking about the Lost Ark, right? And so, what is an ark? It's a boat, to the best of my understanding, is a boat to take you from one place to the other. And so this process is going to take you guys from no sales in your pipeline to hopefully sales in your pipeline, or at least the volume of sales that you need in there, or volume of business that you need in order to start closing more and more stuff, right? So that's the name for it. There you go. Cool. Right. So what I would do is I would challenge you to consider one of my favorite philosophical principles is Occam's razor, and go and Google Occam. He's an interesting character, but basically it's a philosophical principle that the simplest option is more often the best, and it's in Latin, and I'm not going to read that because I'm going to absolutely butcher it and probably offend an entire nation or three. But anyway, translated, it means plurality should not be posited without necessity. Plurality should not be posited without necessity, or put another way, in plainer English, it's the simplest option is usually the best. And so what happens with a lot of us as marketers in particular, we go and we look at a funnel, or we go and we look at different things, and we get in a big jumble because we think, okay, well, I don't have this 85-step process to acquire clients. Like, that means that I must be missing something. I must need the 85-step funnel in order to close more clients. But the reality is that, as it states, the simplest option is more often the best. But because we're searching for something different, a lot of the time we actually overlook the simplest option, right? So I would encourage you to go into this with an open mind for that exact reason. So let me answer the question, the burning question on everyone's mind. How do I smash out 144K worth of offers in under 27 minutes, right? That was the big promise to get here. and I will fulfill that promise. I will explain it. But was it my incredible talent and charm? Yes, that was exactly it. And if you don't have incredible talent and charm, you're screwed. No, just kidding. Look, not at all. No, absolutely not. I don't really have any special talents, to be perfectly honest. Was it because I have a stupidly complex 98.4 step process? Absolutely not. I am a simple man of simple means. I don't have a complex funnel or website. No. I used the second strategy I'm going to go through, right? So stick around till later on until I show you that. But use this second strategy I'm outlining today and threw out a $12,000 offer. That was it. Really, really simple, right? So 12K offer times by 12, you guys can do the mathematics on that, right? 144 grand with business. So, and it was the biggest, boldest offer I've actually put out there. And it was basically, I'm looking for an apprentice to come in and hang out with me and basically work alongside me as I help them build their business up to $100,000, right? So it was a really, really, really good offer and worked really well. Right? So I'm in talks with a few people, may close a couple of those, which would be really nice, even though, well, technically I'm looking for one. So had to rethink that one, I guess. But anyway, there you go. So, and it's like I say, yeah, it was basically 12 amazing folks. Now, here's the cool thing. That was day one. The next day, I was able to do the same thing and get it in front of another 3 people, right? So the total value of that is effectively 36K plus 144K, so it's 180K worth of offers out in my audience. Okay, so even if I close one, even if I close none, the principles are going to be the same. Now, here's the kind of crazy thing is that not everything you put out into the world is going to work magically. Not necessarily going to have every single launch that you do, every single promotional cycle that you do absolutely pop off. In a perfect world, it would be great if we did the thing and then all of a sudden, bang, money just spits out. Sometimes it's about testing and iterations. We take the data, we go, okay, what does the data tell us? We said either the offer is not kicking butt. All right, well, we can adjust that. The pricing might be too high for the audience. Okay, we can adjust that as well. We can make different offers and remove a few things. Maybe just they weren't primed enough. Maybe the mechanism of conversion was not as direct. Maybe we should have been a little bit more direct, got folks on calls. Maybe there's something that we can improve along the way. But the point is that even if you're only doing, 1/10 of that, 1/10, so 18 grand, let's say hypothetically you made a concerted effort between now and the end of June off the back of this training, and you went, okay, I'm going to go and put $18,000 worth of business out there. And then you only were closing, 1/10 of those. Do you think maybe you might end up with 1 to 2 sales? If you had $20,000 worth of offers, if you had $30,000, $100,000 worth of offers out there, do you think it's possible you're likely to close more business if you got more offers out there? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Right. So it's a 2-part strategy. Actually, no, sorry. There is 2 different methodologies that you can use, and I'm going to go into both of those. But I'll start with the first one. Really, really simple. Now you're going to have to summon up some mojo. Right? It's not for the faint-hearted. And here's the thing: if you are scared about sending a few DMs to people, you probably don't have a place in business, to be perfectly honest, because there's not going to be easier things. If you can't pick up your phone and make a couple of DMs to some people that you've already had communication with, and you're thinking that there's an easier way or a better way or a way for you to avoid doing some stuff, business probably isn't for you, to be fair, right? There are other mechanisms, there's other things. You can go write blogs, you can be completely anonymous, there's all that type of stuff. But that takes time and it takes levels of complexity. Like I say, I'm a simple dude. I'd rather be able to throw an offer doc in front of someone or do a live presentation like this, which doesn't necessarily mean that I need a whole bunch of technology. Like if you look at this as a Google Doc, I've got another one that I sent you guys before, also a Google Doc, right? That's it. Add layers to your business as you go, add complexity to your business as you go, right? So what you need to do is think about the warm prospects. Who have you had a positive conversation with that you can help? You believe that whatever you have is something that is going to help that person out. And it doesn't need to be like this long-winded process, right? I've had communication with people where they will arrive in my world and within 27 hours, they've absorbed all this content on their own accord. and they're buying high ticket stuff. Doesn't need to be like, months. Who can I think of that I've been communicating back and forth with for months and months and months and months? What if it's just a little subset of people that I believe I can serve? So I think if you're already got clientele or affiliate sales or whatever, just think of who the hot leads are. Is there anyone that is ready to ascend? Now, develop something that's called the IPP framework to pick up the conversation. It's really, really simple. It stands for icebreaker, pivot, pitch. Really simple, and you got to use a little bit of creativity. Obviously, this is specific to, I guess, my clients, which I originally made this for, and also, my own business as well. It might not be applicable specifically to your business. I would encourage you to leverage what I'm going through here and then start to tweak it a little bit. Get creative. That's the thing. So basically, name what's happening, and bear in mind that's the way that I communicate. It might not be appropriate for you. Like, we're all adults. Use your brain, right? Just whatever's the right thing. How's it going? What's happening? How's life? Yada yada yada. Hope you're well. And feel free to insert personal questions from your previous chats as well. How'd you get on over the weekend skiing? Hope you had a great time. Hey, looks like the barbecue went really well. How are you? Things like that, right? Be human. How would you address someone who you've just met at a party and you happen to see them on the street again later on, right? You'd be like, oh, hey, great to see you again. How'd you get on after the other night? It was cool. Yeah, what do you think? Blah, blah. So how the kids? Yeah, okay, that's great. Right? Do that the same framework and that same way of communicating online, like a real human, real simple. And so what this does is it's an icebreaker. You're not just going into like, hey, buy my stuff. It'd be cool if we did, but it's way better than doing it this way, I can assure you, right? Now, what that does is it's a disarmament. The person on the other side of that is not thinking that you're just an inhumane person who just wants to like sell themselves. They're like, oh, they're actually treating me like a human. They're actually wanting to build and develop some sort of relationship, right? Really, really simple. Now, pivot. I've just picked something up, and I thought after our chat, this may be of interest to you if you're open to it, right? So what am I doing there? Think about the energy behind that. I'm not saying it's the best thing in the world, and I think you should do. And everyone's jumping into it, and like if you don't get into this amazing opportunity right now, like the whole world's going to implode, right? You're not doing that because that comes from a place of desperation. You're like, hey, look, I've got something. It's kind of cool. If you're into, I can send some details if you're interested. Like I say, use some creativity with all this stuff, because as long as you understand the framework, so breaking the ice, doing some sort of very gentle pivot. Key elements are if you're open to it, are you interested? Is that of interest to yourself? Things like that. Whatever the kind of like terminology that you would use that. And this is basically what you need to think of. I have something new. I thought it could help you out. Are you interested to find out more? Right? None of it's like high pressure BS, right? It's just literally, cool, I've got this thing, do you want to check it out? No, I don't. How dare you? Can't believe you would enter my DMs and ask me about something that we were communicating about previously. I'm so cross with you right now. Like, very rare will people do that. And if they do, that's more likely their problem than yours, right? Sweet, sweet caffeine. Making sense so far? Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. Cool. Right. Pitch. What are we doing for the pitch? Basically, and I've put a couple of different options here. I'm putting together a small group of 5 folks to avoid the biggest pain / achieve the biggest desire. So if in your communication, you would have picked up along the way what they're looking to do, right? They would have told you some stuff. Oh, you're an affiliate marketer. Great. How's it been going? Good. Great. Really good. Cool. Do you want to join my group? Yeah. They join the community. Now you can start to elicit data, right? They start to answer the questions. They say, I'd like to learn more about, say, lead generation or closing high ticket or whatever. And that might be the biggest pain point for them at that point, right? And then the desire, Sure, I'm looking to take just 5 folks on a mission to hit their first 10K over the next 90 days. Have all the details on a short Google Doc, or I have all the details. This takes a quick 15-minute call to deliver. Would it be a completely ridiculous idea to check it out? Would it make sense to? Would you be opposed to? Might be a little bit different. You might not have everything on a Google Doc. It might be a Notion board, and that might not be applicable. You might have just a pure funnel. Absolutely fine. You might have a notepad, right? It might be a completely different mechanism at all. It might be just a VSL. Got a short video I can send over with some details. Would it be a completely ridiculous idea to check that out? Would that make sense to? Would you be opposed to? Now, look at the frame with that as well. When you're giving someone the capacity to say no, they feel emotionally safe. And as a byproduct, what tends to happen is they actually say yes as a result, right? Pretty powerful stuff. Like I say, and I really want to hammer this home, it's more about understanding the framework than the specific words, okay? So you will need to use some ingenuity with stuff depending on what your offer is, how you actually typically sell your offer, things like that. Like, get creative. This is the fun part about business. Link. All right. All you need to do is just say, cool, feel free to check it out. Like, say I'm capping this out at 5 people. You also set a deadline. So now we're leveraging scarcity and urgency. So there's a sense of urgency to get in there. Cool. Here's the deadline. It's going to close on this date. And, it's only open for 5 folks. So let me know if you've got some questions. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll see you inside. A little bit of an assumptive close on that one. And an alternative to that entire thing is cool. Feel free to check out all the details here. I'll keep it open until X date or until the 5 spots are filled. So it's another way of framing the urgency/scarcity part of it. When do you think you might get a chance to check it out? And so this would be if you have a more regimented follow-up process. Now, I would encourage you to do this more for a high ticket. If you're doing this for a low ticket, I get a bit lazy. I'm like, cool, if they can't make a decision over a low ticket thing, then so be it. That's up to them. For a higher ticket thing, then obviously it's a more valuable expense of my time to follow up. So therefore, I'm more likely to follow up. So that's the framework that I use. When you think you might get a chance to check it out, because otherwise, what tends to happen? This is just sales 101, by the way. But what happens is you give them the thing. They go, oh, that's lovely. And then life gets in the way, and all of a sudden, a month has gone by. Like, no, I haven't had time to check out that 3-minute thing you sent me. It was clearly not a priority, right? But if you can anchor someone in to say, cool, when do you think you might get a chance to look at that? I'll have a look at it on Tuesday. Cool. All right. If I follow up on Wednesday, yeah, it's fine. All right. That's one way. Another way is you can prime it a little bit differently. You can say to the effect of, look, before I send it over, one of my least favorite things in the world is when people disappear without a trace. And so is it cool if before I send this over, you just, after you've gone through it, you let me know if you're in or you're out, if we've got any questions. Is that cool? Yeah, it's cool. Okay, here's the information. When do you think you might get a chance to look through that? Oh, I'll get a chance on Friday. Okay, cool. So cool if I follow up over the weekend or maybe Monday. Is that easier? Yeah, Monday's probably works best. Okay, cool. So then they're making a commitment as well. Now, what's happened in that process, while I've just said that, is that if you prime someone, like, hey, I really hate ghosts, but scared of ghosts. So I would rather get a yes or not like a no than just, someone disappears. So is it cool that, if I follow up, you just tell me if you're in or out? Yeah, no worries. So, and then if they're committing to that, then they're probably more likely to commit to the other thing, which means that when you enter that or re-enter that conversation, if you're following up and you're like, hey, what's going on? How's your weekend? Like, hey, yeah, great. Oh, crazy weekend. Yeah. How'd you get on with the thing? Yeah, look, not for me. Cool. No worries at all. Thanks so much for your time. Out of curiosity, any particular reason that you said that? Oh, no, it's just a pricing thing. Okay, if we can sort out pricing, absent of everything else, was it everything else ticking the box? Yeah, everything else ticking the box. Okay, cool. Absent of pricing, then if we can sort that out, would you still move ahead with that? Yeah, I would. Look, just that's the pricing thing. Okay, if we can work something out, let's go from there. Yeah. Okay, fine. Bang. Anyway, kind of get my point. Now, why this works, let's dive into this for a little bit. Number one is it's super detached. So the energy behind the framework is massive. If you go into your online thing at the moment, your online thing, good England, you go into your online, into your DMs at the moment, there's probably a bunch of folks that are just like, hey, here you go. Yeah, you should check out this thing because it's awesome. And that comes from a thing that they want, right? The thing that they want. Now, clearly, obviously, we all want the end result. We all want the outcome. But if we reframe that, we put it into their mind, it allows them to say yes or no. Are you interested in finding out more? No. All right, fine. No worries. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Have a great day. So much easier to sell to people that have, like, raised their hand as opposed to the folks that are just whatever. Now, clearly, with a warm audience, this is you being proactive about that, right? Using the economic laws of supply and demand, so you've got urgency, scarcity, you're capping out the availability of it, number one, and you're setting a deadline. Now, humans, we're a funny creature. We often don't like to make a decision unless we are forced to. Now, there's something called Parkinson's law, which is effectively the task will shrink or expand for the time allotted, more or less, right? And that means that if we set a deadline on something, we are going to work towards that deadline. And the same thing applies when it comes to making decisions. Deadline is here. We have to make a decision. Are we in or out? We're going to miss out on like all the cool stuff, all that type of stuff, right? Hopefully this is making sense. It is a sense of urgency behind it, like say scarcity, capped out numbers, blah, blah, blah. And for this one, we're really aiming for folks that are at the bottom of the funnel, the boffers. And the reason for that, now, if you guys aren't familiar with my terminology there, it just means that if that's your funnel shape, you've got funnel, you're pouring stuff in the top and it funnels its way down, right? And so top of the funnel, these are folks that are just getting started, like just introduced to yourself. And so they might have like picked up something that you've done, a lead magnet maybe, maybe they've seen an advertisement, maybe they've seen some of your content, maybe you've gone and interacted with them somehow. And then in doing so, they're at the top of the funnel. They don't know you yet. They don't trust you yet. And they need some nurturing from that point, right? And then they enter the middle, which is where they start to develop a relationship with you through your content, and oftentimes, and they start to think, oh, okay, well, that person makes a bit of sense. And then there's certain things that you'll write or you'll articulate, and they will go, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, cool. And then bottom is like basically timing, and they know, like, and trust you, and your offer sounds badass, and they know what you're about, and they know that you can help folks out. And that is bottom of the funnel. So those are the folks that we're aiming at. Right. Now let's look at part two. Before I do, any questions on that one? Just let me shrink that down for a sec. Any questions on just what we went through? Cool. Guess not. All right. No dramas. So next part, just make sure my screen is shared once more. All right. So part two. Call this my P&O strategy. It stands for post and offer. Very original. I did recently go on a cruise for 22 nights, I think it was. Wasn't with P&O. Was with Princess, which is part of the company. But anyway, so P&O is a two-step method to get your offer out to folks. Real simple. Screw that guy. 7 points for guessing what that stands for. There you go. I just gave it away. Right. So all we're going to do is we're going to create an enchanting post that appeals to the desires and pain points of your target market. Now, these are what we call bait posts or two-step posts. And it's effectively where you are putting out a call to action directly to, again, this is bottom of the funnel stuff as well. So here's an example. Free guide shows the 4-phase formula I use to hit 50K months wanted. Now, clearly you might not have, and I'll just put the link there as well. So like I say, I'll send this over once I'm done, but you might not have those results yet. You might not have 50K a month, but is there something that you can do that might elicit a response from your audience, right? So assuming that some of the folks in your audience are a couple of steps behind you in your journey, excuse me, sorry, is it likely that some of them might get some benefit from some additional leads or creating some sort of visibility? Is that something that might actually help them out? Right? If you had a 3-part framework for maximizing visibility, or I don't know, like a simple 3-step checklist or 5-step checklist that shows you how to get daily inbound leads without leaving your couch, so that's something that might be appealing to those folks. How to get red hot buyer leads in under 8 minutes a day with my proven 3-step formula. Who wants it? Right? Get creative with this stuff. We all have the capacity to drive more volume doing this type of stuff. So 2 of them that I got as examples. One was just for a freebie, and that had a link to a call to action, and there's like training and all sorts of stuff in there as well. Really, really high value asset. And then the other one is more of a direct response, looking for hand raisers to work with me. Basically, I'm going to help 2 coaches/affiliates hit 3 to 7K in the next 60 days. Hashtag me below for info. Now, hopefully people are logical enough to understand that with the second one in particular, that it's not a free thing. Like, I'll be giving up my time, energy, and my program. So, whatever, right? And you're still going to get folks that still expect the thing for free. You can mitigate that to some degree by the way that you structure your content, things like that, but that's a story for another time. As I mentioned, you can do this with a freebie. You're effectively giving something of high value to them, which then sparks that conversation. You're also delivering that value. So the ones that bother to consume it, hopefully they are a little bit more ingrained into your methodologies, your lifestyle, the way that you think about things. Plus, also, some of them would have actually gone and deployed some of the information that you have given them through the lead magnet or freebie, whatever it is. And some of them might be a little bit further ahead as a result. So now they're going to hold you in higher esteem and more authority as a basis of that as well. So send the offer, real simple. Literally, this is how I got the 144K out there the other day. Hope you're well. Sounds a bit odd, but I'd probably avoid asking a question at this point here. Like, hope things are going well, question mark, or hey, how have you been lately? Now, it's something I do out of habit, right? So I actually have to train myself not to. And the reason for that, so it's a funny little psychological thing. But if we open up the floodgates and it's like, hey, how have you been lately? And they go, terrible. Life is like, it's just. Then all of a sudden, you're moving further and further away from the sales dynamic at that point. And it's not that you want to be inhumane. It's just that your mission based off the post that you put out is to get this information in front of them to see if you can help some folks out. Right? Hopefully that makes sense. Thanks for dropping in on my post. And if you want to get a little bit fancy, just take a little screen grab like I have, just for reference, because sometimes folks are just kind of cruising through the internet, and sometimes there's been delays like time zones, all that type of stuff. I will put out one of these, and then sometimes I get like hundreds of comments, right? And so it's like, oh man, like days and days and days now. Obviously, I've got automations that take care of a lot of that stuff nowadays. It's a little bit different, but back in the day, I was manually doing it. So it might take a day or so to get back to absolutely everyone. So after a day or so, time zones, all that type of stuff, like I say, they might be in a situation where they no longer remember what they've commented on. So therefore, they're more likely to ghost you as a result, right? And the way to mitigate that to some degree is just by sending them, that thing, hey, here you go, here's a reference point in case you can't remember. Don't say that, but if you need a reference. Here's all the details of what I'm up to. Bang, link. Let me know if you have any questions. Sometimes I get a little bit assumptive here. I'll say, otherwise, look forward to seeing you inside. A little bit assumptive close there. And you can use a similar framework as above. You can say, cool, when do you think you might get a chance to check that out? Let me know if you have any questions. Out of curiosity, do you know when you might get a chance to review that or make a decision? Tuesday. Cool. Okay. Can I follow up on Wednesday? Yeah, that's absolutely fine. That's it. That's literally it. Now, clearly, the entire game is not that complex, right? It is build an audience, add some sort of value, like what I'm doing here, and make offers. Now, what do I do at the very start? I said, hey, what's up? My name's Jamie, yada, yada, yada. Here's, by the way, I'm going to do my hard pitch at the start. Here you go. Have a read through that. Let me know your thoughts. This is what we're doing for June. Go through that, check it out, yada, 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 right? Making offers. And then last one, sorry, was follow-up. Audience, value, offers, follow-up. That's it. That's literally the entire game. The only thing that changes is certain mechanisms within that. Right? So audience, where are you building your audience? How are you building your audience, right? Are you running ads on Pinterest or YouTube or Google or Bing or it's not called Bing, Microsoft Ads or like whatever, right? TikTok, yada, yada, yada. All the same shit. It's not different. Like it's just different platforms that you're on to build that audience. Adding value, hopefully you guys know to add some value. Even if you're in the early stages, there's freaking guarantee there is something that you have learned that someone else doesn't know. And you can help those folks out. So adding value, giving insights. People might know something isn't working, but they might not know why. You might, reason why you're not further ahead and things are happening at the speed that you want is because you're spending way too much time on umpteen different platforms, putting out content when the reality is you don't have a dialed in offer. So even if you do get someone into your pipeline, you've got no offer. And then worse still, there's no singular mechanism of conversion in the middle. Right? That's it, the entire game. The mechanics change. How are you closing your leads? Converting them via DM, via VSL, via call, via webinar, via text message. All the same stuff. It's just having that mechanism. And I just wanted to take a quick second there. This is going to be a little bit polarizing for some folks, but I think it's really warranted. Is that a lot of the time when I say this type of stuff, I can sense there's a few egos popping up and a few ill concerns, and I get it. Like, if you're someone who's introverted and you're like, I DM people, what the no, but it's not about that. It's the thing of if you're not prepared to do that, then what are you prepared to do? Right? What do you think is the alternative? That's my question. Because the idea of having passive income, like, don't get me wrong, is amazing, and you can develop some level of passivity along the way. I loathe that word the way it gets thrown out. It's an income, because the true passive income is when you've got cash in the bank and you're not having to do anything for it. But then there's still a side argument with that, which would then suggest we still have to do taxes, still have to monitor your investments, right? So there's still work that has to be involved in that at some point. But there is more passivity with that. But when it comes to online stuff, assets they die off after a while. They no longer are as efficient as they once were. So even if you've got like a portfolio of websites, for example, you still have to maintain them. Still have to maintain their rankings, and then there's updates to algorithms, all that type of stuff. And so I kind of hate the word that when it gets thrown around. I personally live in a world of realism, and while I love working to help people out, I think it's one of the better ways to do it is just to help folks address some of the stuff that's going on up here as well. And look, don't get me wrong, outsourcing everything can be really cool. But sending a few DMs, if you think it's beneath you or it's too hard, I don't think business in general is right for you. Because what's the alternative? We're not talking, there's no techie stuff here. Like, it's literally going and finding an audience that you can help and then sending an offer to them, right? And if you think that that's beneath you, then what are you doing in business? Like, even the folks that are like multi-millionaires and billionaires, you know what they're doing? The fundamentals, the things that don't change, it's all based on human psychology, right? I also know of folks, and there's many of them, that are doing stuff that's not entirely dissimilar to what I'm doing here, that are making multi 7 figures, sometimes 8 figures per year, 10 million bucks per year, from DMing folks, from attracting their market, right? Using attraction marketing techniques and then sending offers to those folks. So the choice is yours. Either do a few things you don't find entirely comfortable, like sending a few DMs, for example, or doing a lot of things you don't find comfortable, such as being stuck at work forever, helping another company, a boss, making a bucket load of cash, and with little chance that you're going to make any more. You're looking for a CPI increase every year, 2.5% increase, maybe a little bonus here and there, right? Maybe a paid rise if you shift jobs. That's it. Right. Anyway, I'm going to send this over to you guys. There is obviously the offer there for June. Like I say, have a read through that. I've already sent that through, but I'm going to open up for questions. We can rock and roll. Let me just drop this in here as well. Post. Cool. There you go. Feel free to check that out, folks. Yeah, other than that, give another half a minute. Everyone's already smashing it up. Cool. Awesome, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. Those that did tune in for the live, really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for the engagement as well. Always helps just to get the message out there further to the algorithm. Check out the presentation. Welcome to go through that. Use those structures in your own business. Of course, there's a couple of examples of posts that are put out. You can go click through and have a look at. And of course, don't miss out on the opportunity to grab that bundle for June's first 10 folks. You're going to be able to save a further $72 off that as well. So go hit that up. It is some of the best knowledge that I've ever put out there, which has made me hundreds of thousands of dollars in my business, and it's universal in nature, meaning that it doesn't rely on an algorithm, doesn't rely on a hack or a fad, anything like that. This is all fundamental stuff that is going to feed you very well if you can master these fundamentals. So all that being said, guys, really appreciate you guys. Go check those things out. Let me know if you have any questions. And once again, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a great day, guys.